In our second German craft beer selection, we have this one. This is a Juicy Beast, but what's it going to be like? Keep watching to find out. Welcome back to Rocker's Beer Review. Today we are drinking the next beer out of my Christmas selection, I would say, of German craft beers. This one is a German double IPA called Juicy Beast, 7.5%. I'm going to put my glasses on because there's a little bit of information I can get from this. So this is from these Eppelein Friends. And as I say, it's a German double IPA, Juicy Beast. It's got an IBU of 60, quite high into bitterness level, 7.5%. It says handcrafted in Franconia. Presume that's part of Germany somewhere. And, you know, there's a lot of German writing on it. It does say it's a modern sort of beer, but it actually has the hops on it. So it has Solero, Amarillo, Cascade, and Chinook hops. So let's crack it open, get it in glass, and see if it is a Juicy Beast. The last one, yeah, I mean, that was another double IPA at 7.5%. Much more on the sort of West Coast side. I'm just, because it's called a Juicy Beast, I'm expecting this one to be a little bit on the juicier side. But actually, as soon as I've poured it, it looks very similar. Well, I've poured it a little bit on the far side. In fact, I'd almost go so far as say this is a much darker coloured, much more copper coloured. Almost to the point, I mean, it looks quite sort of brown there, but if I hold it up to the light, in the light that I've got in front of me, we've got a lovely amber coloured beer. We've got a sort of beige head, about 4 fingers. I don't know why I poured that so badly. I think it's just, maybe it just travels not so bad. Let's see what the aroma's like. Yeah, I mean, again, very malty. I'm almost picking up a sort of marmalade-y sort of aroma. I have a feeling this one's going to be a lot more bitter than the last one. So, cheers everyone. Ooh. Yeah, that is very sort of marmalade-y, piney, resinous. It's almost like it's quite sweet. There's a sweetness in there. There's almost like a honey flavour in there. It's quite soft. There's not much carbonation in this. Very much, you know, if it said it was made with honey, I wouldn't be surprised, because it's got a very sweet flavour sort of running through that. So you get marmalade and sweet orange. There is a sort of, I wouldn't even say it was bitter. There's a little bit of dryness. But again, there's a lot of resin in there, a lot of resinous sort of qualities, a lot of very sort of, I don't know how to describe it. It is like bitterness, but it isn't that sort of real dry, sharp bitterness. It's just the fact that, you know, if you think of like orange marmalade, if you've ever had like a thick cut orange marmalade, which pretty much looks the same colour as this, you know, and it will say bitter because it'll be lots of orange rind in there, and that creates that sort of bitterness. But again, with something like marmalade, it's obviously got a lot of sugar in it as well, so there's a lot of sweetness in there, and that counteracts the bitterness. And here you're getting like this almost honey sweetness. It's almost like, I mean, even when you pour it out, the way that it looks, it's very sort of almost treacly almost. It's almost got a treacle, honey sort of flavour to it. Lots of orange, lots of rind of orange. A very sort of, you know, again, I think this goes beyond what I would call a West Coast IPA in terms of its flavour. It's something, it's a different beast. I don't drink huge amounts of German beer. I'm not a big fan of real Belgian beers as well. But it has that sort of very sort of Northern European, I feel like I've had a beer like this before in Northern Europe, you know, like your Dunkels and those sort of things. Treacly, honey, orange, pine, slight bitterness, dryness in there. It's not a bad beer. again, not the sort of beer that I'd want to drink a lot of, because it is full of flavour, but a little bit to the point where it's a bit too much in flavour. But it's not bad. It's got a nice soft carbonation. It's got it's smooth when it goes down. And for a bottle of beer, it's not bad. Yeah, it's not bad. But the dryness of that bitterness is actually, the more I drink it, it's coming into the fore a little bit more. But it's still not bad. So, Juicy Beast by Eppelein Friends, another German brewery. Not bad at all. Something quite different than what I normally have. But, you know, I'm hoping I'm going to get something a little bit more in terms of what my palate desires. The last one was quite West Coasty, but with a fair bit of carbonation. This one's much softer, sweeter. As I say, honey and treacle and marmalade. That's the flavours you're getting with this. If you like those flavours, then you quite like this. So, German Double IPA, Juicy Beast. Let's get some scores. Okay, the scores are in for German Double IPA called Juicy Beast. I mean, I thought Juicy Beast, it would be a real juicy flavour, but I wouldn't say it's juicy. It's a very sort of, it's almost a little meaty in terms of the flavours. But let's go for the scores, starting with aroma, appearance, flavour. And as I don't know the price that these are, I'm going to give them a 7 for value for money. And then finally, my overall experience. Yeah, total score, just about recommended. It's a difficult one because, you know, if you like this sort of style, if you like your Belgiums or your very traditional sort of German sort of beers, I mean, look at it in a glass. It's very sort of thick. It looks very thick in there. It looks like it's got something like honey in there. There's definitely a little bit of sweetness in there to go with all that orange and pine and stuff like that. Very much sort of beyond the West Coast for me. West in a sort of element, but it's in a different style again. And it's not, you know, these aren't the styles that I really sort of know. But it's still recommended. Total score off. Stick it up there. Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Not my style, but still quite good. So let me know if you've had a beer like this before. I mean, yeah, a beer with honey, sweetness. It's quite orange, very orangey, and it's very sort of gloopy there. There's a lot of body in this beer. But let me know in the comments whether you've had something like this before. What do you think? Is there a style that you would call this? Let me know in the comments. And until the next one, you know what we're going to do. Drink good craft beer and keep on rocking.